I'm going to tie a tube ply adaptation of green Highlander, classic salmon ply. So I have a bit of orange outer tubing and black inner here. And I've recently started using this gel spun stuff. We'll try it. It's very thin. So we'll take ourselves down here to the bit where the inner tubing ends, and I'm going to tie a little bit of a tip behind that and then try and get my tag on top of that bump. So we'll just go to the other side of it. Now I'm going to use Mirage here. This is a Opal Mirage from UTC. This is a medium. Now, bit of a trick for you here. What I'm going to do is tie in I'm going to tie it in, but I'm going to leave, instead of tying it in that way as we normally would, what I'm going to do is leave this little bit of a tag out the back. I'll show you why in a second. So we'll fold that over. And an advantage here of using your gel spun, or this cleary sort of a gel spun, is that it doesn't transmit a colour through things. So I'm just going to come to the other side of my lump there. So don't worry about how untidy or otherwise that looks, because that's going to be covered up. So this bit here that we have, if it's visible, I'm going to take forward, and what that'll do is create like a little shell back over the back of this and stop it from slipping back. And then we'll tie back onto our bump again. Now, tail wise, we're going to use this stuff, which is orange fluoro fibre. And what we're going to do there is pull out a little bunch of it. And then I'm going to double that over. And this loop part of it cut. So we'll set that on top. I'm going to set the shorter end this way, longer end this way, and then fold that back on itself and tie back to the point where our butt stops. So now if we hold this here and take a scissors from underneath and trim gradually backwards, that should give us a little bit of a taper on the underside, and then if we take a few of the top fibres and the same with that, that should give us a neat enough tapered tail. So you can use ostrich, you can use wool or something for a butt here. I'm going to use a black hen spectre dub. This is a code 45, this one here. And it's real fine synthetic sort of dubbing, and I'm just going to spin that on, and then I'm going to add a tiny wee bit of glue onto that point there, and then I'm going to wind on top of itself a few turns with that spectre dub, and that'll give us a nice neat little fake ostrich glistery dubbing. So now I like to add counterweight onto my plastic tubes. So here I've got a little bit of adhesive lead foil. I'm going to put that on the underside there. It's not right to the back here. It's tapering this way, but it's not coming right to the very back. That's because I'm going to tie in some bits and pieces back here. So I'm tying in now a holographic flat braid in silver, and that's our rib. Set that off to the side. And then for the rear part of the body, just like in the normal green Highlander, I'm going to use this, which is a yellow rayon floss. I've taken a length there of what, 60-70 centimeters, and I'll tie it in across its middle. And that'll give me two strands, so as I wrap, they're sort of overlapping each other and self-leveling to a certain extent. Now, I'm coming further than I intend this section, and then I'll put a dub body back over it. So we'll take this tie and thread back here, tie that off, and then you can wrap back over itself. As I said, might look a bit messy at the minute, but it'll come good in the end. So for the body, what I'm doing is I'm using a mixture of sort of lime green synthetics. I've also chopped up a little bit of like a chartreuse fox hair, mixed it in that. That'll give it a little bit more body to it. Make a dubbing rope of that and dub it on forward to roughly this point here. Hackle wise, first hackle is going to be this, which is a chartreuse badger hackle. Take one of those, snap it off and tie it in by its base. And what you can do is strip one side of it if you feel like it. I think it makes it lie more streamlined. So use that to palmer over the dubbed section only. And this here, you can leave that flat if you want a wide sort of a silver rib, or you can twist it on itself and you'll get like a rope. I'm going to use the rope. Get to this point and catch in that hackle, and then come through those hackles to the front portion. I put a bit of a stretch on it there because of what it is, just to tighten it up so it doesn't loosen. And we'll trim off the two of those. So, add a little bit of super glue to that just for security reasons. It's time to start building the wing. So first portion here I'm going to use is this. You can use polar bear or something like that. I'm here using an American opossum, which I've dyed in a fluorescent orange. And look for a bit of that. Now, these are sort of straight and stiffish. The idea is just to raise that wing up a little bit and provide a colour accent on the base of it. So I have a little bunch of that here. I'm going to trim the ends off level and just set that on with very little tag end sticking back. It turns across that. Super glue my thread, because gel spun tends to have very little friction, I find, so it helps to glue things just to keep them in place. Next portion of the wing I'm going to use, which is yellow fox. So I find a bunch of that. I'll take out the very longest yard hairs of that, because this is not a main wing bunch. And then I'm going to set that on top. Now I want this to come maybe half as long again as our underwing there. I'll set that on top and get a couple of turns. Now you can see that is splayed across the top, and that's what helps us with our teardrop shape. I'll pull this up and trim it off. And again, I want to glue up our tying thread, tie that in. I'm going to add a little bit of, this is like a chartreuse crystal hair. So I'll double that over for 2 strands, and then I'll double it back on itself again for 4. And trim the second ones off a little bit longer than the first. So now we're ending up with a bit of a tied in head, or a bulk, so I want to travel forward of that and slim that down. So what I'm going to do is take a yellow soft tackle here, and we're going to wind that in there. I'll double that over. And tie it in by its tip. A little bit of glue on that, and then fold that soft tackle back as you're wrapping it. Tie it in, and one turn to fold it back on itself. Alright, next portion we're going to go for is the Highlander green, and this is a bit of Templedog, I think. So I'm going to take a portion of that. These hairs seem to be sort of uniform length, so I'll take this, trim it off flat. Set it up on top. And then again, bit of glue. And wrap, and as you wrap it, that'll create a little blob which will set into the base of that tie-in. Now this is a big enough sort of a fly, so I think what we'll do now is add our longest bit. So what I want to put in for it, if I can find it, is a bit of fiery brown goat. So we're just taking a little thin bunch of that, because it's really just to add, its intention is to be the taper. I have a ruler down here on my desk, so I'm going to measure that out to whatever length I choose. So in this case we're tying out, this is 10 centimeters, so I've trimmed that off at 10 centimeters, and I'll set it right dead center on top of the wing, and then allow a bit of super glue to dig into that. So if you look at that, we then have this thin bunch of goat right on top, and that's tapering out here. So I'm now going to put in a couple of strands of this is peacock crystals, or peacock mirage, and again fold it back on itself. And I'm going to put in my peacock herl at this stage, so I'll take a few strands of that. You can put in as many strands as you want. Personally, I like the look of it with less strands, only fewer strands. Some people put 6 or 8 on top of it, but I think they're nice just as an accent. Oh, so there's 3. And tie those in. Little dab of glue just at the tie-in. Now I'm going to put in a couple of jungle cock eyes here. I'll take a couple here, strip them off to the same length. Put one on my side and one on your side. and fold their stalks back for added security, stop them pulling out. Trim those two bits off. And now we're getting towards the end now. So what I'm going to do is put in another couple of turns of yellow soft tackle. So I'll double that again. You may or may not use the whole of this tackle, it's a longish one for a hen. Again, I'm sort of stroking if anything gets trapped with fibers and just breaking them. Then we'll tie that in. Fold it back now. Here I'm trying to create a very small tie-in or head point. And to finish this fly off, what I'm going to do is take a little bit of this as Tanuki pelt, which is a fiery brown, and it's nowhere near as long as our top portion, but it's going to create the sort of body of colour of it. So I'll reverse that round and tie it in across its base. Trim that down at an angle. Glue our thread and wrap on top of the same section the whole time. I don't want the head to travel forward, and then we'll fold that back on itself. And if you want, you can put a turn across that. So to finish it, I'm putting a little silver hybrid cone on, so I'm just going to put on a blob of, this is a Gorilla Glue super glue gel, then it doesn't run all over the place. I'll take our little silver hybrid cone, slide it back into that, and when it hits the glue ball, what I'll do is rotate it and push it all back into that. Some of the super glue will come out the front of it, and I just like to spin that round with my nail, and that removes it. Brush those in, that'll give us the final wings, and then I'll take that out, trim that off, and fleam the inner tube down. I like to just stick a sort of whitish needle into it just to make sure that it is patent, and that is our green Highlander Templedog.